14 September 1985. India and Pakistan. Bitter enemies, both armed with nuclear weapons. The Pakistani Navy ship PNS Khyber patrols the contested maritime boundary between the two hostile nations. Off to port and leading the patrol, the PNS Badr. Beneath the waves, the diesel submarine PNS Hangor. The sun sets low on the horizon as the Khyber heads towards the maritime boundary, amidst reports of increased Indian naval activity. Hostilities could commence at any time. Hello, welcome to Gus McDowell's Strategy and Tactics, and thank you to our subscribers. Today we're playing Borderline in Sea Power Naval War in the Missile Age. Spoiler alert, this mission ships with the game. Operation Borderline. You command a Pakistani naval fleet tasked with patrolling contested waters near the volatile maritime border with India. Recent intelligence reports indicate an uptick in Indian naval activity, increasing the risk of confrontation in this politically sensitive zone. Your orders are clear. Assert Pakistan's sovereignty, track Indian movements closely, and maintain a defensive posture to prevent any unintended escalation. The rules of engagement are strict. Identify and respond only to direct threats, but be prepared for rapid escalation if necessary. Maintaining strategic positioning and exercising tactical restraint will be essential to navigating this tense standoff, as any miscalculation could tip the balance in this high-stakes Cold War setting. With each manoeuvre, you carry the weight of diplomacy and defence on the open sea. Okay, let's play. This is the area of operations. To the east, the state of Gujarat in India. Immediately north of the ships, Pakistan. West of Pakistan, Iran. And west of the ships, the Gulf of Oman, gateway to the Persian Gulf. The Pakistani ships are heading southeast at course 138, making 21 knots. Their task is patrolling contested waters near the volatile maritime border with India. Their orders are to assert Pakistan's sovereignty. So we first need to know where is the maritime boundary. This is not indicated on the map, so we will need to draw it. This is a crude attempt at a straight baselines method. The land border runs roughly along the line of the Sea Creek, the river delta northeast of the Pakistani ships. Because the delta mouth exceeds 24 nautical miles, we draw a straight baseline along the low water line of the coast, joining points on either side. Then, for simplicity, we will run the maritime boundary perpendicular to that line, roughly along Sea Creek. Not up to United Nations standards, but this will do for now. In reality, both sides may disagree on the location of the maritime boundary, but both sides would have one marked on their maps. Both Pakistani surface vessels are based on the Royal Navy Battle Class destroyer. Ignore the flag on the PNS Badr. The Battle Class destroyer is 116 metres long, 12.3 metres in beam, displaces 3,310 tonnes and has a maximum speed of 35.5 knots. She is armed with two twin quick-firing 4.5-inch Mark III naval guns fitted in two Mark IV turrets, seen here forward of the bridge. In addition to optics, she has a surface search radar. Built in the mid-1940s for the Royal Navy and Royal Australian Navy, 26 battle-class destroyers were built with significantly more planned. As the designs aged in the late 1950s and early 1960s, they were mainly sold for scrap, with two platforms making their way to Pakistan and one to Iran. Pakistan acquired these ships, originally the Cadiz and Gabard, in 1957. In real life, the Khyber was lost to a missile attack during the Indo-Pakistani War of 1971. Also in the area of operations is the PNS Hangor. Originally a French Daphne-class patrol submarine, she is 58 metres long, 6.8 metres in beam, displaces 1,038 tonnes and has a maximum speed of 15 knots. She carries E15 anti-surface torpedoes, passive sonar homing with a range of 8 nautical miles.
Track 7001 is classified. Hostile warship.
And L3 anti-submarine torpedoes, active sonar homing with a range of 2.8 nautical miles. Sensors include optics, periscope, DRUA-33 air and surface search radar, ESM mast, DUA-2A hull-mounted sonar, and DSUV-2 hull-mounted sonar. 25 Daphne-class submarines were built from the mid-1960s for both the French Navy and export customers by DCNS. These small diesel-electric submarines were also exported to Portugal, South Africa, Spain, and Pakistan. In Pakistani service, they are known as the Hungor class. This boat was commissioned in 1970. Hungor's sonar has identified an enemy ship.
Make my depth 3-2, dive aye.
Let's go to periscope depth. The destroyers have 4.5-inch guns. Not modelled in the game are anti-submarine warfare mortars in the stern. 14 40mm Bofors guns in a mix of single and twin mounts, and 2 21-inch torpedo tube mounts. Now we have drawn the boundary, we must not cross it, as our orders are to maintain a defensive posture to prevent any unintended escalation. We've been told that maintaining strategic positioning and exercising tactical restraint will be essential to navigating this tense standoff. Similarly, we need to challenge any Indian naval vessels crossing the boundary. The suspect hostile vessel's PIM, or plan of intended movement, will take it across the maritime boundary. It is about 5.8 nautical miles from the boundary as we have drawn it. When you draw a circle centred on a unit, the circle moves with the unit. Much like a range ring, a very handy feature. Next, let's adjust the formation so the khaybar is in line astern with the barge. The hostile ship has been identified as a Pecha 3 variant, the INS Undort P69. Again, ignore the misleading flag. While India was technically non-aligned during the Cold War, she received most of her military equipment from the Soviet Union. She is 82.3 metres long, 9.2 metres in beam, displaces 1,140 tonnes, and has a maximum speed of 29 knots. Sensors include visual, air and surface search radar, hull-mounted sonar, and electronic support measures. The Project 159 or Pecha class are a class of light frigates designed in the 1950s and built for the Soviet Navy in the 1960s. These ships were intended to focus on anti-submarine warfare operations in shallow and coastal water. She is armed with twin RBU 2500 mounts, just forward of the bridge, set 65 torpedoes in a launcher aft of the superstructure, and most relevant, 2 twin barrel mounted 76mm 59 caliber AK-726 guns, 1 turret in the bow and 1 turret in the stern. These have a range of 8.6 nautical miles. Let's adjust the range ring on the INS Undort out to 8.6 nautical miles. The INS Undort is on a heading of 316 degrees, making 23 knots, and charging straight towards the maritime boundary. Local time is 1743 hours, 4 hours ahead of Greenwich Zulu time of 1343 hours. The guns on the Pakistani ships have a range of 10.2 nautical miles, a little over 1 nautical mile greater than the INS Undort.
Ahead 2/3. Maneuvering aye.
But their orders are to not engage first, so they will lose this range advantage.
Ahead 1/3. Maneuvering aye.
PNS Hangor is at periscope depth and has a look around. She can hear the INS Undort, but cannot see her.
Down scope.
So far, while Khaibar has the Indian ship on radar, only Hangor has identified her as a Petra III class ship. 3 blades on 3 shafts, 50 Hz, gas turbine. Confidence increases as she tracks the contact using passive sonar. The Pakistani ships maneuver to close the range. The INS Undort has crossed the maritime boundary. A provocation? Or a navigational error? Still out of gun range. At over 11 nautical miles, Badra moves to cross the T. Khaibar follows in line astern. Message: the Indian patrol has not heeded warnings to leave the area. Use of force is authorized. Fights on, but the Pakistani ships are under orders to maintain a defensive posture to prevent any unintended escalation. The INS Undort swings to port and elevates the rear gun turret. This demonstrates hostile intent. She opens fire, a hostile act. Khaibar is under fire. She leaves formation and changes course to present her bow to the enemy. The sounds of gunfire from the Undort and the splashes near Khaibar are recorded on sonar by the Hangor, some 11 nautical miles away. No doubting who has started this fight.
Engage track 7001. Salvo. Engage track 7001. Salvo fire.
The captain of the Badra orders both ships to open fire. Khaibar is hit.
Hit track 7001.
Pulses race on the bridge. The pounding of gunfire, the smell of burnt propellant, the fading light of dusk, the early evening wind blowing on the faces of the sailors, and the splashes of incoming shells, any one of which could mean instant death. Khaibar is hit again. Another amidships.
Hit track 7001.
And scores hits too. Undort is hit amidships and starts to burn.
Hit track 7001. New surface contact detected.
The stern turret falls silent.
Hit track 7001.
The bow turret is hit and explodes. Fires run the length of the ship.
Hit track 7001. Ceasefire track. Ceasefire track.
The Pakistani ships cease fire. The last shells fall.
Hit track 7001.
The Undort is sinking from the bow. A sudden explosion rocks the ship. The bridge, an entire superstructure, is destroyed. The captain killed instantly. The survivors take to life rafts as the ship disappears below the waves. Thick smoke billows from burning fuel oil. The wreck settles bow first on the bottom, in Pakistani waters.
Track 7005 is classified. Hostile warship.
With Undort sunk, attention shifts to the second radar contact. It is classified as a hostile warship.
On station. Turn to course 130. Hell my. Engage track 7005. Salvo fire.
The Pakistani ships open fire on the incoming intruder.
Engaging track 7005. Salvo fire. Hit track 7005. Hit track 7005.
The second ship is not yet identified, but is already burning from multiple hits.
Hit track 7005.
A catastrophic explosion rocks the ship. She is identified as Indian frigate F-144. She is dead in the water. Fires burn the length of the ship. The INS Kirpan. The view from the stern is terrifying. Fires rage out of control. On the horizon, Pakistani ships close the range. The Kirpan must surely sink. But what then? The crew abandon ship. The flames cast an eerie light over the gathering gloom. Kirpan sinks from the bow.
On station.
battle flag still proudly flying, she slips beneath the waves. Multiple shell holes in the bow tell the story of the Köpan's demise. Her battered bow hits the seafloor and the ship gradually comes to rest. Meanwhile, the Pakistani ships close the distance to rescue survivors. Moments ago, they strained every nerve and sinew to kill each other. Now, they are just fellow sailors in distress on the cruel sea. Mission complete. After action report. Decisive victory. The Indian Navy lost the Undaught P-69, a Pecha III class frigate, and the F-144 Köpan, a Blackwood class anti-submarine warfare frigate. The Pakistani Navy took no casualties, but some damage to both ships. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. And stay tuned for the next episode.